We should be live on YouTube, everyone. So I'm going to give it a, make sure it is. So be on your best behavior.
And Dan, can you re-forward me the packet?
Sure.
I don't think I. Where it is. Very good. All right. Missing lots of people still. All right. Give it a minute.
Everybody hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I think we can start.
Hey, Mayor, one quick thing.
Yeah.
Click to go live on my on the village site, but nothing seems to be working. Is there an extra step that I'm not doing?
No, I mean, I clicked I got a notification that it was live and it went up and it came up.
I've got it on my phone live right now.
All right, just making sure. I think I know. I think I actually now I know what the problem is. I'm old, gentlemen, so
It's all right. We're all learning together.
Hey, it's working, so that's a plus. You did
I said-
something right.
it's because I stopped the recording. So when we get started, I'll get going.
All right. Pat's in. All right. Everybody's here. Everybody's here. Let's begin. We will skip over the pledge, I guess. It's kind of, you know. All right. So first thing we have to do is approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. Next up, treasurer's report and the paying of the bills.
I'll make a motion and we pay the bills.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, hold on a second. I gotta figure out how to. All right, I guess we'll just do it this way. All right, next up is codes report.
Well, he seems to be still keeping pretty busy.
He is, yep. Yeah, well, a lot of people still working on their houses and stuff. And then, of course, there's lots of complaints still.
I'll make a motion to accept the codes report.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Tell Kevin to unmute his thing.
Oh.
He's got to unmute.
Kevin, you're muted. There you go. Now we got you.
Okay, super. Thanks.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. All right. Dog control.
Gave me a stiff neck reading that one.
Got to turn it sideways, yeah.
All right, motion.
I'll make
Make
a
a
motion.
motion.
Ed's
Yeah,
gonna
motion,
second.
Ed seconded.
All right, all in
Let's go,
favor?
peace.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Next up is DPW report. Let's see.
It looked like a lot of maintenance was being done on a lot of the vehicles, so that's good.
Yep.
A lot of people have been using the mulch yard, and I guess we haven't had any problems of people abusing it, so that's good.
I haven't seen more than 2 people in there at once, so that's been good. We haven't had to enforce that.
Well, nobody's been dumping trash either, so the camera works. So that's
Cameras
good.
are good. Yeah, cameras are good.
I just want to add a couple things that, once again, with DSS or DDS, it was funny. I talked with Mike about it, and we had some residents that were complaining that the DDS was putting straw over the new grass, and it was blowing all over the place. And other residents were complaining that they didn't have any straw on their new grass, and why not? So
Because they lived in the wrong spot.
So the answer is that DDS is using hydro seeding, and hydro seeding mixes in a mulch as well as a little fertilizer into the seed, and it helps keep it down. So if they're hydro seeding, they really don't need to use the straw, and that's why I don't know why they used it on some places but not others. But that's why, for those that are interested, if they hydro seeded in front of your house, that's why there's no mulch. The other thing too is there's still some complaints about the sidewalks and such. And the answer is yes, they can use 2x4s. It's an acceptable method. It just has to be, the dirt has to be dug all the way down and not mounded up in the center. But again, if you tell us after the fact that they've already done it, there's nothing we can do about it. So, you got to notify us if you have an issue before it happens. And on top of that, for anybody that is listening, we do have our DPW guys going out there and checking before they pour. So again, if you have an issue, contact the office first and we'll go double check. But we do have guys that are looking at it.
And finally, NICEAG has said that they are warranting those sidewalks for life. So if they crack or break, they'll come fix them.
Yeah, I know we were talking about just making sure we have the documentation just so we can have that on file.
I got a paper trail.
Yeah.
the file cabinet.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept the DPW report.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Gift.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Fire department.
If anybody's interested, that was engine 2 that was escorting the Easter Bunny around on Sunday. That was our new truck.
Good looking truck. The Easter Bunny was popular. I heard a lot of people.
There is a farmer's market report too, as well, right before fire.
Oh, is that?
Oh, I have the older copy of the agenda. Sorry.
Oh, I'll send it. Do you have it, Mayor?
No, you sent it to me on the email, but I didn't print it out. So.
Oh yeah, I just didn't say. Okay. So well, let's do fire and then we'll go back to farmers market. My packet is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, I skipped it. Okay. Any discussion on the fire report? Can I get a
Do we
motion?
have to pass the new recruit or?
I think
didn't
we
have-
have under new business.
Okay. No problem.
Do we have them under new business?
All the paperwork was not in.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Pass the fire
second.
report. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay. Sorry about that. Kristen, farmers market. Let's see here. I know we're trying to figure out a way to do this and keep people safe. I think Kristen came up with some good ideas.
Kristen, you're muted.
Do we want to waive the fees?
Let's see. Yeah, I think we should. What do you guys think? I think we should.
You know,
Okay.
it'd be a good idea because that way the extra costs that they're gonna incur to make everybody safe, I think it's a
Yep.
good idea.
Yep. And anything we can do to bring more fresh food into the village is a good thing at this point. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we should.
Do you need a motion for that, Mayor?
To waive the fees?
Yes.
Yeah, we probably should.
I'll make the motion that to waive the fees for this year on the farmer's market
I'll second.
vendors.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Kristen, anything else to add?
She's unmuted, but she may not be able to speak.
Well, it's a good report. We'll take it as it is then.
One more quick thought on that.
Sure.
That is not only for the ones that have participated in the past, that's for anybody in the future that wants to additionally participate, correct?
All right. Do we have a motion?
I
I
made
think
it.
Ed and Kevin did.
No, we made a motion to waive the fees. We need a motion to approve the report.
I'll
I'm
make a
sorry.
mo-
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll
Might as
second.
well second.
No.
All right, Kevin got it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Police Department. Chief Pittman, do you have anything to add?
Where'd he go?
There he is.
He's here.
Moved over. He's on
He's
mute.
muted. He's muted.
He's sitting in his car.
Chief, you're muted.
Oh, now he's gone.
Push the wrong button, I guess.
How's that?
While we're waiting for him,
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay.
There he is.
Nothing at this point to add, other than, all the guys are still healthy and we're still moving along. Guys and gals.
I was a little disappointed that we couldn't have our award ceremony this year, but I'm very proud of all your officers that got awards and, I guess we got to thank them from long distance.
For
Well,
sure.
thank you.
And also Matt Compton, who's, I guess, gone to Wisconsin. So he was a good officer. So I
Yep.
rode along with him that one winter and wrote a little article. So I liked him.
He's a good kid. He's out in Wisconsin. He made it out there and, so he's doing well.
Good. I'll make a motion to approve the police
I just
report.
had one quick question for Chief. How do I go ahead and get some of those signs to support you guys?
Which ones are they, Kevin?
The red ones, white ones?
What's that?
The red and white supporting the police?
Oh, you know what? I've seen one of those on Elm Ave, but I'm not sure where they're getting them from.
Oh,
I'll find out where though.
I'd like to have one.
Okay, I
Let me
appreciate
know.
that.
All right,
Okay.
thanks, man.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ed.
Make a motion, we approve the report as written.
Second.
Any discussion? Chief Pittman's been doing a great job. He and I talk pretty much every single day.
Pretty much.
Yep, during this. It's yeah, he's been very very on top of it and way out in front of things. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay.
All right, all set with me?
Yep. You are
All right, you guys-
dismissed.
Everybody have a good night.
You
Night,
too.
Chief.
Be safe.
Chief.
Thank you.
All right, Rec, do we have Zach on the line? See the mysterious iPhone? Maybe not. All right. Well, obviously not a lot's going on with Rec right now, unfortunately. Zach's trying to figure out things to do to keep the kids occupied online with video game tournaments and things like that, which is good. You know, he's in a tough situation where
No.
his whole plan just collapsed. So I think he's doing a good job trying to find things to keep the kids busy. So
He's
do I have a
been
motion?
busy doing refunds and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's sad, but
Do I have a
hopefully
motion?
this summer we can do something. Who knows?
Motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the rec report.
Second.
Ed's got the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. Water and sewer. I know that the big focus, because my biggest concern has been making sure that we always have healthy water operators. Their big focus has been staying healthy and just making sure that the water supply is good. So they've done some repairs and some marking for dig safe, but unfortunately we had to shut down the whole meter replacement program. Maybe in a few months we'll be able to start putting meters in again, I hope. But for now, we're kind of in a holding pattern, just making sure everybody's water's working well.
I'm thinking we might want to, Buzz may have to start thinking about what we're going to do for the next quarter if this drags on. We estimated water bills for this past quarter because we couldn't read some of them.
We may have to estimate again. It's because we talked about, I don't think it's worth spending $10,000 on a new wand.
Right.
We're phasing those meters out completely. So I would rather estimate again. And I think we could, get pretty close with the fact that we have it all in the computer and we have patterns. I think we can get fairly close.
Yeah, I do too.
With the estimates. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's not ideal, but
Yeah, after Kristen's work and all the updating we did over the last few years, those estimates should be much closer.
yeah, I think they're not too bad. All right, do I have a motion for the water?
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Second.
second.
Doesn't matter.
right.
Give it to
Kevin,
Ed.
you can have it.
Okay,
All
thank
in
you.
favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, and water billing. Yep. So we just talked about the estimates and the handheld and all that stuff. So motion to accept the water billing report.
I'll make
Make
the
a
motion.
Go ahead, Pat.
I'll make the motion.
Tim Daly seconds.
Yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Let's see here. Privilege of the floor. Fred, would you like to say anything? I see you there.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We
Yep.
can hear you.
Other than what you and I and Dan talked about, we've gone to spray in the building twice a week. The handrails, the doorknobs, Monday after the building is closed and Wednesday after the building is closed. And then, of course, I just reminded the highway and the clerks today that they're required to wear masks if they deal with the public at all. So other than that, obviously, there's not a lot going on, and hopefully the upstate will open up relatively soon and bring a lot of business into our area, maybe from areas that are still shut down. So other than that, I don't have anything, Hal. Any questions?
Well, so I've been talking with Linda Jones and Kelly Preston about doing a photograph of all of the representatives of the town and village. You know, we'd be wearing our masks, and I was just thinking about it. We'd have to spread out. We'd have to do it maybe on the village green and spread out so that we're, you know, maintaining the social distancing. We could get Zach possibly to take the picture from the air with his drone, but just to show us all together that we're all together, you know, working on representing the village and the town and making sure that, you know, we keep people safe and everybody has what they need. Would you be interested in doing something like that and running it by your board?
I can run it by them. I don't think they'll have problem other than it may have to be done after working hours for Mike Park.
I think we could do it on Saturday, maybe.
All right. I mean, he works until noon on Saturday, but in any respect, I think it's doable.
Okay, good. All right, I will let them know. I checked with Don about it. You know, we'll put it in the Homer News and all that stuff. But I checked with Don to make sure that the deadline was late enough that we could do that. So I think it would be nice.
Should probably include Kevin Fitch.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I will reach out to him too.
Okay.
Yep. Very good. Thank you, Fred.
Well, thank you. Thanks for inviting me in this way. I've attended a few meetings this way and I really enjoy it. So
it's pretty good, right? Are you guys, you know, you can use our account for running the town meetings. I don't know if you're considering it or not.
Well, we talked about it. We met in the senior center last week and everybody sat at a different table. And that's the way our planning board right now wants to do it but I put it out to my board that was a viable option. And I said, in the future, we need to do it that way, especially if one of you is sick.
Right.
I think if this hasn't taught us anything as a society, it's taught us don't come into a group of people in a closed room if you're not feeling well, out of respect to them. And with the communication ability that we have today, this makes it so somebody can stay home and still join the meeting, even if the rest of them are meeting. So I think there's a lot of good things that are coming out of this bad situation.
I think so too. Yeah,
So,
I think so too. Well, good. Well, if you decide you want to use it or they decide, just let us know. We'll give you an account and you can, you know, we can give you your own account so that you can control everything and all that. So.
All right. I greatly appreciate it.
No, for all that you guys do for us, it's the least we could do for you.
Well, we'll, once things get back to semi-normal, we'll have a bridge committee meeting.
Yes. Yes, because there's Bridge New York funding. You saw that, right?
Well, I did, but I also, everything, AIM, Bridge New York, CHIPS are all contingent upon the balanced budget amendment, which allows them to pull that all back if they need be. So
yeah,
I have some real reservations about getting a lot of money out there on the roads and then have them pull the CHIP funding back.
Yeah, understandable.
So and I'm really not sure when we're going to have a a good idea as to how much we'll have and when we'll have it, unless you have information that I don't.
Well, for chips, it's the same amount that you had last year. They kept it level.
Well,
And
I realize that, and they kept a lot of things level, but they also, if I understand the way they wrote the law, if they get into trouble, they can
Yeah.
pull that back.
Right. That, and yeah, that's definitely possible. This is where we have to hope that the federal government comes through with some money for the states, because yeah, I think they will. My prediction is that the federal government will eventually come through for us, but it might take some more theatrics.
Let's hope they do.
I hope so too.
Let's hope.
All right.
Thank you, Fred.
Any,
Fred.
no other questions? I'll get back to some other business.
No other questions.
All right,
Thanks,
Thank
Fred.
you.
gentlemen.
Hi, Fred.
All right.
Anybody else out there want to say anything?
Privilege of the floor. Anybody?
If
Going once, twice, thrice. All right.
did we forget the cemetery report?
Yeah, I think we did.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't on the thing there. Hold on.
But I did see it.
Yeah,
I'll make the motion. I saw it.
I know.
Yeah, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't expect that report, so I forgot to go back and add it because they just opened.
I guess we didn't see it.
It
All
seems
right.
pretty cut and dried. I make a motion to accept the cemetery report as
I'll
written.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. New business. Approve payment of bonds via wire on April 30th.
Make the motion to do
Yeah,
such.
so you'll see the highlighted yellow with the asterisk by it. We have to pay them. They're due May 1st, so we send them April 30th. The next payments aren't due to November. And the amounts for the principal and interest each are sent in 4 separate wires. And it's just the agreements that are in here. And so I'm looking to get approval before doing it.
Are you talking about the highlighted areas?
Yes.
You highlighted the 2022.
Yeah,
It'll be the 2020.
Okay, that's why I was getting confused. I saw the 2022s were highlighted. But we're actually looking at 2020?
Yep,
All right.
should be.
No, we're
Lost her.
She just muted herself.
I think her phone's off.
no,
Yeah.
my phone's on. Can you guys hear
Okay.
me?
We
Yep,
can
I
now.
hear you now.
How again?
What's going on? Hello?
I
Yes.
can hear you. Can you hear us?
You can hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, it works now. Actually, the 2022 are the right ones because it's how they issued it at the beginning. So I verified this with Natalie Massel, which is from Fiscal Advisors. We verify it each year. It actually is the 2022 numbers on the left side. It's because of how our fiscal years are. So what you have to do is fill in
Okay,
2
I didn't take into
principal.
account for that. Sure.
Yep, and 2 interest, and you have to use the QSIP number in the letters there. So we have to pay for one of them is 25,000 principal with 7,562.50, and we have to use the EG7, and that will be 2 wires, one to principal, one to interest. And then the other one is actually the 25,000 principal with 1,968.75 interest, and it uses the QSIP DM5. As you'll see, there's only 2 more principals in that one, and then just a few interest payments. The next ones aren't due to November 1st, which are interest, which would be the right side of the 2022.
Got it.
Okay.
It'd be nice to get this paid off.
Yeah.
All righty. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of bonds via wire.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. Next up, approval to transfer Village of Homer historical data held in Cortland County self-insured workers comp plan to Compliance.
Sounds like a
And
no-brainer.
basically, yeah, that's just, they contacted us saying we need to transfer it by the 18th.
Yep. So do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Or Ed.
Ed seconds, Tim made it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Resolution of notice to award the sewer projects.
Just as note, B&L are on the meeting, both Taylor and Jacqueline. So I'll read the resolution, and then if you guys have questions for B&L, go fire at it. All right.
Very good.
All right. Whereas the Village of Homer is the owner of the Village of Homer Sanitary Sewer System Improvement Project, whereas pursuant to New York State municipal law, bids for contract number 1A, general construction, were received, publicly opened and read aloud on March 19th, 2020 at 11 a.m. via video conference in accordance with New York State executive orders. And whereas the village's engineering consultant for this project, Barton and Lagutis, DPC, B&L, tabulated and analyzed the bids received, and Green Mountain Pipeline Services LLC submitted the lowest bid. And whereas B&L provided a recommendation of award letter to the village for contract number 1A of the Village of Homer Sanitary Sewer System Improvements Project, for which B&L took no exception to the village awarding contract number 1A, general construction, to Green Mountain Pipeline Services LLC for the amount of $574,574. Now therefore be it resolved, the Village of Homer Village Board hereby awards contract number 1A, general construction of the Village of Homer Sanitary Sewer System Improvements Project to Green Mountain Pipeline Services LLC in the amount of $574,574, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
We have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Unanimous.
All right. Aye. I was muted.
You're muted again.
Taylor, do you have anything you want to throw in there? Are we good?
I will just add real quick with regards to coronavirus and the executive orders coming from the governor. Water and sewer construction projects are still being deemed as essential. So it's all systems go right now. Of course, that could change any day here, and we'll keep an eye on those things and keep the board posted.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Next up is the proclamation. Is that right?
That's our usual thing for CDBG funding.
Okay.
Would you like to make it, or would you like me to?
Go nuts.
Whereas in accordance with the Title 8 Fair Housing Policy of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 and the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988, and whereas the month of April 2020 has been designated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity as Fair Housing Month, now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of the Village of Homer hereby declares and proclaims April as Fair Housing Month in the village.
Motion.
I'll make the
Make a
motion.
motion.
Tim's got second.
All right. Tim, we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. The next up is we need a resolution for the RAN. This is so that we can, it's a revenue anticipation note, basically saying it's a short-term loan so that we can buy the properties on Route 11 as part of the linear park project. And then it's just a short-term loan, and then we pay it back when we get the grant money.
I'll make the motion that we accept and approve it.
Got to read it first, Ed. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did read it, but okay.
Got to put it into public record by this way. All right. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Homer, County of Cortland, State of New York, as follows. Section 1, the purchase of 3 premises located along New York State Route 11 owned by respectively James Harder, known as 215 South Main Street, tax parcel number 76.57-01-04.000 for the sum of $100,000. Premises owned by Gerald Contento, known as 207 South Main Street, tax parcel number 76.57-01-03.000 for the purchase price of $110,000. And premises owned by Cortland County IDA on Route 11, tax parcel numbers 76.57-01-06.000 and 76.15-01-29.000 for the sum of $71,000 is hereby authorized. Section 2, the plan of financing the cost of purchasing the above referenced premises includes the issuance of a revenue anticipation note in the amount of $281,000 with an interest rate of 2.75% in anticipation of the receipt of monies from the state of New York, Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation for the project Route 11 Corridor Acquisition EPF number 152924 PKSACQ, grant contract number PKR01-C52924GG-129000 pursuant to general municipal law to mature on February 28th, 2021 is hereby authorized.
Ed, you want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion now to
I'll
accept
Second.
that.
You said.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Boy, we've been
Yeah.
waiting a long time for this. This is going to be great.
All right. Let's see here.
I have noticed though that they're continuing to make progress down there.
Yes.
Yeah, they are. I ran into James at Napa a couple weeks ago and told him that we were still going forward. He didn't know. So it was good that I said, yeah, we're still moving ahead. So he was happy. All right, next up is LWRP discussion. Mr. Ed.
All right, been talking with our friends at Toma, and we have, I guess, around $2,500 banked with them through our monthly, keep them on retainer, which is local waterfront revitalization program for the outsiders. And that's important that we have that accepted. That way we can actually get CFA, which is Consolidated Funding Agreement, maybe, monies for like river trails and other things in the community, especially anything to do with the waterfront. And so we've written some chapters that Dan and I were flogging along on it. I suppose we could send in some chapters for review shortly, because we have staffs. I don't know how to do that. And they would also help us do a community survey, which is required. And actually one of the things that they have done and would like to do is build a survey and then put it into our next water bill that would go out to everybody in the community. So
Great
we can
idea.
get feedback. Basically, you need feedback on it, but I'm thinking about the only thing that our community would really need to do is maybe limit the height of buildings along the river to what the Keeter Opera House is, the 40 feet or whatever it is. And that would probably be the extent of any codes or rules that we would have to put in for the LRIP to make it successful. From what I've read from places like Watertown and Essex in New York along Lake Champlain and up at Alexandria Bay, those kind of things. Those are the kind of codes that they put in. They didn't put in, what it's got to be made of or how far back from the river, because the DEC and the community already has that, rules. So anyhow, recommend that we allow Toma to help support us to the limit of the funding they have, because I know we're tight on funding, and so they have it, and it keeps them employed, and it keeps us moving along. That's my recommendation.
I think it's a great idea.
Me too.
So before you vote, they actually have a little bit more money than you think. They have $3,000 right now as of the March 31st. We pay them roughly $300 a quarter, so they're gonna have $3,300 after the next payment and the next check run in April.
Perfect.
Well, that's great, because then they can actually have that survey and help with the mapping. And then hopefully Dan and I don't know how we're gonna do this, but we can do a lot of it online.
Yeah.
So we can do that, and then maybe with this next water bill, which I guess comes out, what, June?
July 1st.
July 1st.
All right, so we would.
Yeah, it will go out at the end of June.
That,
And you guys already did a
July.
not to exceed 2,000 for mapping services. So we could tack on an additional 1,000 right here with this motion to kind of scoop it all up and then have Toma go do their work.
I would do a not to exceed to the 3,300 for all TOMA activities supporting the LRIP. Depends on what it is. I wouldn't want to limit them just the mapping for 2,000. They may only, they may need less, may need more.
Well, it's going to be
I
both the
don't
mapping and then the
know.
survey work.
Yes,
Yes.
I'll make the motion that we allow them up to the maximum of 3,300
Second.
Any other discussion?
dollars to work on LRIP activities.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. And then finally, the village response to the COVID-19 crisis.
Oh, we also have the recreation refunds. Do we want to do that first?
Oh, sure. We have to approve those, right? I forgot about that. All right, do we have a motion to approve the refunds from rec?
I'll make the motion that we approve the refunds for rec.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay, so the village response to the COVID crisis. We've been pretty proactive, I think, as a village. I think we've been sort of out in front of things pretty well. We are making sure that we keep our employees healthy above all. And so we shut down the village offices and the town hall. You know, obviously respecting social distancing, we're getting everybody, we're just ordered masks for everyone. And I think we have hand sanitizer for just about everyone everywhere. We're limiting access to the police department and the fire department. We're assigning tasks for, say, the DPW that don't involve employees working directly together. So that's why you see out, you know, picking up brush and things like that in different machinery, because that's one way to keep everybody safe. Obviously, cleaning the vehicles when you get in and cleaning the vehicles when you get out. We're doing all that. And see, we have, what am I forgetting?
I know that Chief Pittman is making sure that businesses are following the social distancing as well.
He's making sure they're following the social distancing. And also we did go and contact all businesses in the village, and those that were deemed to be essential. We generated a letter from the police department and the village jointly that for each employee, so that they could travel if they did put any travel restrictions on, or if anybody had any questions about whether or not the business was essential or not, they would have a letter. Let's see, you know, we've obviously canceled and postponed events and gatherings, and the summer music series is not going to happen. And we're sort of taking a wait and see attitude on Holiday in Homer and Magic on Main and things like that. Hope for the best, plan for the worst kind of thing. So, you know, maybe it's possible to do them later in the fall. If I had to guess, I'd say probably not. We're probably not going to have anything like that this year. Probably won't have those, won't have the Fireman's Field Days. You know, just, I think out of caution, I think that they're still going to discourage any sort of big gatherings of people until we have a vaccine. And we're a ways away from a vaccine. This is a very strange situation. None of us have been through this. None of us have experienced this, and we're all in it together. And we're stumbling through it together. But it's when you hear that we're a year to 18 months away from a vaccine, and if until we have a vaccine, it won't really be safe. We could be looking at a little while longer of this. So hopefully everyone's still supporting businesses. We're going to talk about some possible ways to support our local businesses here in the village as well when we go into executive session. So what else have I forgotten? Pat or Tanya or Dan?
Well, we're working closely with the county on some things to get some other systems that'll be more readily accessible as we navigate the bureaucracy of the aid that is coming down. And that's pretty much, we're trying to be proactive. Like you were saying, Hal, we're just trying to stay ahead of this.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can do is stay ahead of it.
Another thing you did, or that the village did, was to waive the interest and penalties on late tax payments and water and sewer bills. I've heard a lot of thank yous for that, but just to remind anybody else that doesn't know, because the water bills just went out, if they're not made on time, there's no interest and penalties if it's received before June 30th, and subsequently that will be looked at again.
Right. Thank you. I did forget that one.
And also just want to state that as things come in, obviously we're reduced staff, so your checks may not be deposited as quickly as they used to be. So just bear with the village. We're getting it done. It's just at a little slower pace.
Right. And of course, we're making budget adjustments to account for the fact that we expect a big decline in sales tax revenue, probably by up to half, which is a lot for us. So
No doubt.
yeah, we'll be making adjustments to either put off or eliminate spending so that we don't have to borrow or raise taxes any more than necessary, which I hope is not at all. So, all right.
Yep,
Anybody have anything else?
If you're going to have sales taxes cut by half, that is a significant number, and people ought to be aware that that is really going to hurt services in the community, and we're really going to have to really look at this hard.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah,
it is huge. Remember, a 1% is only $13,000, and
I
they're
know.
talking 300,000 here. That could be hellacious. That means not buying vehicles and a lot of stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we're postponing any large purchases, vehicles, things like that. Deferring money that we were going to be putting into reserves when we can. We had a great budget.
Yeah,
we had a really great budget. It's all blown to crap now.
Yeah.
Pardon my French, but everybody's is. Everybody's is.
Yeah,
so
the whole
no one that
state.
will escape this. The city just had to cut their budget by $1 million last night. So, all right, let's see. Dante, do you have anything?
Yeah, I could provide you guys a little bit of update with the Route 11 project.
That'd be great.
I spoke to Rich Cunningham at Toma probably about 2 weeks ago, just to see where they were on getting some of. I thought we had to do RFPs, but he informed me that we just needed to get several different estimates for the environmental work and the surveying work and a couple of the other things that they were going to get quotes out for. He's still in the process of doing that. They haven't finalized everything.
Okay, good.
But I might check up on him in a week or two. As far as title work, we actually did get the title work back for James Harder, which was sort of the one I was, most concerned about getting back. I haven't gotten title work back. Title work is sort of the package that transfers the property to us. So that's something I need to review to make sure everything's all right. I haven't gotten the other 2 packages back, but I will send emails out to their attorneys to get those respective ones done.
That's for like
just-
any other loans, right, Dante?
Yeah, it's like a copy of the abstract of title, which is sort of a document that traces the property's history,
Right.
plus proposed transfer documents like the deeds and the other things that have to get recorded along with the deed.
Mhm.
We were going to do our own surveys and environmental work, so we don't have to wait for the sellers to do any of that.
Beautiful.
So that's where that project is.
Excellent.
And that was,
Well,
yeah.
a ray of sunshine, right? In this, that is continuing to move forward.
Yeah, it's a good sign. It's a good sign.
Excellent. Anything else? No. All right, you muted. I guess not. Board members' comments. We'll start at the top with Ed.
I don't have any. I was interested in the LRIP, and that was my main push tonight. Over.
Successful. Kevin.
Well, I would just like to thank the community for continuing to support my business and contributing a little bit of financial aid to my employees as well. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's I'll be there tomorrow, or not tomorrow. I'll be there Friday. Yes.
All right.
That's
Well, thank you.
Pat.
Just for our residents that may be watching, this is tough times across the board, but if you need services, you can check the county, the town, the village website. If you need to reach out, I'm throwing Dan and the rest of our office staff, if you don't let us know what's going on, we can't properly advocate for you. We're doing the best we can with what we know. The second thing is just, I know it's tough with the quarantine and self-isolation and the social distancing, but it's going to be even tougher when the weather gets nicer and we want to be a little complacent.
Mm-hmm.
But for those that are watching the numbers, Cortland's very fortunate right now that we're so low, but it doesn't take much for that to turn around. So we just need to stay on top of this.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And the last thing I have is, Kevin, I'd like to put in an order for an apple pie if I can.
Sure. But I also want to thank the residents and everybody, not just for supporting my businesses, but other businesses in the area as well.
Yeah, it seems like from the Facebook group, it seems like people really are making an effort to support the restaurants and the local businesses. And that's really encouraging. It really makes
Every
me
little
feel good
bit
about
helps.
it. Yeah, it does. It makes me feel good about this whole area. So, Tim, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to spitball off of what Pat was just saying about, I know this sucks, the social distancing and all that things we've had to alter our lives in doing, but this is where we really need to bunker down and continue it. Don't just because it gets nice outside feel like, oh, we need to go outside and spend time in large groups. If you're out walking, that's one thing, but keep your distance. Give people the space to pass if you are walking down the same sidewalk. Just continue to do the right things. I think that you'll see by the numbers are going kind of down in a lot of regards. So, hopefully this will be at least contained, maybe by summer. And then if we continue with whatever measures the state and the federal government comes up with, we can get through this.
Yep. All right. Anything else? No. So, we need a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters.
I'll make the motion that we go into executive session.
I'll
Very
second.
good. Ed second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'll end this meeting and then the executive will start here post haste.
All right.
Very good.